I don't know. Like it's I'm traveling next week, and I now realize in this new schedule, if I'm not in my office, I'm like, oh my god, I have to
Yeah,
be ahead, and being ahead is hard. It's
it is.
hard.
It
It's
is.
hard. I mean, how
Well,
are you?
enough with the niceties. Let's
Uh,
welcome our guest. Well, those weren't even niceties. Niceties are more like, you know, checking in on someone. You're just
this was
talking.
water cooler talk.
Yeah.
This was just, like, oh yeah, 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 glug, glug, glug. Yeah, that's all that
You
was.
know what's
That's
so
all that
funny
was.
is people lament the end of the water cooler chatter era, but that was a very much a moment in time too, right? Like when did water coolers start to become present in an office? The 50s, the 60s? So what they have like a 40-year run of like water cooler, 50 year. I mean, like which is a long time, but it's like, we've been around for thousands of years. Like what's the new water cooler? Is it social media? This is what we do. We just get off
I
topic.
think that's the thing is we don't really, you know what it is? It's Riverside. It's
Oh.
it's Zoom. You want there it is. You want
Well,
to know? You want to? There it is. I've reared my ugly head. It's Zoom in Riverside. That's it. This is it.
Ollie, do us a favor. Welcome our guest
Yeah, you're right.
to the water cooler for us.
God, maybe we should just pivot this whole thing. Lose the dad stuff. We're just desperate people looking for a little connection. All right. Today's guest is a creator whose unexpected career pivot has made him one of the most wholesome and beloved dads on the internet. Derek Mitti is a former banking professional who traded balance sheets for bedtime routines, jumping headfirst into full-time fatherhood while pursuing a brand new chapter in cybersecurity. But online, Derek has become best known for his heart-melting co-star, his 18-month-old daughter, Tallulah, better known to millions as the internet's nice girl. After retiring from the banking industry, Derek began documenting everyday moments with Tally, capturing the gentleness, curiosity, and kindness that have turned their father daughter duo into a viral bright spot. His content blends warmth, humor, and sincerity at a time when the internet seems to need it most. Based in St. Petersburg, Florida, shout out St. Pete, Derek spends his days studying cybersecurity, creating content, and finding joy in the simple adventures of family life, whether he's mixing music on his DJ controller or paddleboarding to the local sandbar with his wife Amanda and little Tallulah in tow. But above all the new chapters, new skills, and newfound online fame, Derek's favorite role is being Tally's dad. Derek, welcome to the pod.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. I appreciate you guys for having me on.
Of course. So wow. I mean, you're a relatively. I mean, you're not as new as a dad, like with a baby fresh out the hospital. But for context, I've got a 7 and a 5-year-old. Ollie's got a 14-year-old. I mean, he's been at this for a while. I mean, what? Take us back. Your life has taken quite a turn, quite a transition in the last 18 months. I mean, talk about BT and AT. That's before Tallulah and after Tallulah. Like, what was your life like before, and how has it changed?
Um, Before Tallulah, our life was just partying and traveling, and every Friday, Amanda and I would just hit up a local brewery and go have fun, and then come back home, and then Saturday to repeat until after our trip from no, after our trip from Africa. I took her to my home country, Zambia, for the first time. Then after we came back, that's when we had a serious talk about having kids and stuff. And then we continued our traveling and having fun, and and then the following year, we were not married then. Then I proposed to her, and then we went to Panama. Did the whole thing, and then during that trip, she was like, "If you wanna have kids, we need to try it. We need to start doing it now." But rewind from that because I gotta give my wife her flowers where when it's due. Uh, when she was 18, my wife was told she could not have kids.
Mm.
So when we met, that was the first conversation that we had. She told me like, by the way, I can have kids. I know you want to have kids, but I can't. So I was like, okay, you were told when you were 18, but I know science has changed by now. So when we come to that bridge, we'll cross it. So fast forward, that's when in Panama she was like, if you wanna have kids, let's try it now. Um, and then we started pursuing adoption, but adoption was expensive. It was like maybe like $35,000 to adopt a child in America, regardless whether you adopt a child from South Africa, because that's where we wanted to adopt a child from. Whether you adopt from South Africa or United States, it's still same price. So a week later, she looked into getting an egg donor. So the prices were almost comparable. I was like, so she was like, why adopt if I can try and have a child with one of our genes? So we pursued that, and then it was like one shot. Tallulah is here now.
Wow,
Yeah,
congratulations to that.
absolutely. And then after that, it's just been trial and error, man. It's been we were both like brand new, like we didn't know anything. We didn't know anything about kids. We got some advice and we were researching a lot of things. And we live in St. Pete. Amanda's family lives here in New England area, and my family obviously is in Zambia, so we didn't have any help. So yeah, until we are figuring it out slowly. Yeah.
And just to relish in this, you have, I mean, I know what I read, but I have to say it. You have a 14-month old. 14 months.
18 months?
18.
Oh,
18.
18. Okay, well,
Yeah.
apparently I have I can read, I just don't have retention. One of the R's is good enough, right? But I mean, obviously I have to, I have a 14-year-old and he just turned 14, so I'm literally staring at the whole, he's going to be an adult in 4 years, which is crazy. But, I fondly, well, to a degree, perhaps with some sort of just nostalgic intensity, look back to the time when my son was, I don't know, he was a little over a year when I basically inadvertently became a stay-at-home dad. So I had this concentration of time where, yeah, he was, I don't know, about 13, 14 months old. And I was just there with him that whole time, like, trying to occupy the time, occupying, like we killed daycare because it was like, I'm here, I didn't have to be gone or whatever. So it's just a rush,
Yeah.
thinking back to like, oh wow, like, do you go to the zoo? I mean, I've been to St. Pete. Tampa's got a great zoo. I went to the zoo a lot.
Yeah. No, we haven't. We need to start going to the zoo because Tallulah loves animals. So I get scared sometimes when she sees even like big dogs. She extends her arms trying to hug a big dog. I was like, no, not every dog is the same like ours. Gotta be careful. So and it's funny. Like before I put it for a nap, we were watching lions on TikTok. She we spent like 30 minutes watching lions, just like lions roaring and stuff. So yeah, we have to start going to the zoo pretty soon. Yeah.
So, how long have you been, you've been a dad for 18 months.
Yeah.
When did you decide, all right, I'm going to start being like an online dad and, kind of make this part of my repertoire, and kind of share snippets of our lives?
It's interesting because the page Daddy Dearest, I started it maybe a month before she was born. So I think I cannot pinpoint exactly when I decided to do that, but I know that I was thinking about it way before she was born. Um, the reason is, so growing up in Zambia, I and then after I moved to America, a lot of my friends were asking me like, can we see pictures where you went to school and stuff? And I didn't have any. I had zero pictures. So from I have like maybe like less than 10 pictures from when I was a child until when I was 23 when I moved to United States. So I didn't have any records to show like some of my friends like silly they keep are you really from Africa because we don't have any pictures, you have never shown us any pictures. So because of that, after I came to United States, I became obsessed with documenting my life. And so I kind of wanted to extend that for Tallulah. So it was just a natural kind of decision to start documenting like every day of our life because of that. It comes from my own, like not having any pictures. So that's that. So I would say I probably thought about it maybe way before she was conceived. Yeah.
How old were you when you came to the United States?
I came to the United States 20 years ago I'm 43 now. I came here when I was 23.
And when you kind of started this journey of documenting your life, a couple decades ago, was it with a camcorder? I mean, this is, pre-smartphone, right? Like,
Pre-smartphone. Yeah. So I bought it first, like one of those like point and shoot cameras. So like that wasn't, I came here in 2006. Yeah. So a few months after that, I bought a small point and shoot camera. So I was taking pictures almost at any given opportunity. I'm at the beach, pictures, pictures, pictures. I'm at the restaurant, pictures. And then maybe a few years later, when the GoPro came out, I started making videos with a GoPro. Almost like that was an everyday thing. Like I was making like 5 to 10 minute clip videos and stuff, and then I was just storing them on my hard drive. Um, yeah, and then when I was using mostly point and shoot cameras, and then the GoPro. That was my friend.
was there any editing? Did you kind of like, layer anything on, or was it just verite, like, this is what I'm seeing, point of view, and then did you share it? Was it on YouTube or Flickr or anything?
So I have another Instagram page. It's called Mr. GoPro Travel. So so that's where most of the stuff was going. And I retired that account. I'm rarely on it. So that's why I was posting most of my stuff on there. I think I started that Instagram page in 2012. I remember that I was in Costa Rica. Uh, I was literally leaving Costa Rica, and I filmed a lot of videos, and I took so many pictures in Costa Rica, but I didn't have anywhere to publish them. So I was like, you know what? Let me start an Instagram page, and the Instagram just came out like maybe a few months. So I started posting them on there.
So that's what happened, right? You were documenting all this stuff, but it was just sitting in a localized storage place, and that was it.
Correct.
And then,
Correct.
this is very interesting. This is something we don't really talk about because part of this whole, honestly, our community, right? By the way, Neil and we probably spent a lot of hours talking together. I've only like been around him in IRL twice, right? But that's just the world we're in, right? But I'm kind of curious, like, this is a whole thing. Like, we create this stuff and share this world and merge worlds all on a platform. Like, you really are kind of like someone who was like, I have all this content. I mean, all this terminology we use now. I mean, at some point you must have been like, I'm going to do something with this. And it's such a precursor to even what you built right now, born in a very, very different era. So kind of walk me through that. Like, were you like, wow, Instagram, I'm going to really use this thing? Because I was just like, another thing I can fiddle with on my new smartphone.
No, I didn't even really think about it very much. But here's a funny thing. So I used to have a social media marketing business, and I used to help a lot of people like do their stuff, right? And doing anything, producing content for me, like it wasn't a thing. People would ask me like, okay, "Can we look at your Instagram? What do you do?" Like, I didn't have anything to show for, but I've just been very good about telling stories and how to post and when to post and all that stuff. Um, I Yeah, and I helped so many people. So even when I started Daddy Dearest, I didn't really overthink it. It was just like okay, we just gotta share content, and that was it. Until I had like a viral moment, and then another viral moment, and another viral moment, and I was like, oh, okay, it's working.
And that was the thing. You didn't predict these moments. They simply just, I mean, the essence of it was like, oh, wow. You wake up, you turn your phone on, right? That's like the first
Yeah,
thing you do. And then you're like, oh, and then apparently something happened 2, 3 times over that you're like, okay, this is what it is now. And that was it.
yeah, yeah. And after that, like I was telling my friend the other day, like Tallulah has made me rub shoulders with celebrities. Like it's like it's funny. I'm just like I was teasing my friend. I was like, I'm just a regular guy. I'm from Africa. Like just simple guy. Like here I am, like friends with big time celebrities, and so like, oh my God, like So it's interesting. It's an interesting
How
journey for
big
sure.
time are we talking? Are we like Brad Pitt?
I mean, I, yeah, maybe somewhere there,
Drop some
Um,
names. Drop some names.
I mean, I can drop some names like Leslie Jones. Uh, I see Viola Davis in my comments once in a while. It- like, there's more. There's more. Like
That's A-list. Whoa, back up the truck. That is 2 A-listers. Dear God.
yeah.
We're unloading a couple old timer Food Network people that I kind of half know. Gee.
So yeah, so I find it very, very interesting, like the journey that we've come, after all that.
So this has been a pretty new rush for you, literally fatherhood and creating this account, this social
Yeah,
media brand.
like the last
How,
1 year.
so how do you kind of navigate the dare I call it the inner guilt of am I being present with Tallulah or am I just trying to get to that next viral moment and see if Viola's gonna pop into the comments?
No, I'm very. I have come. So going back to my social media marketing days, I've kind of figured out how to create content and then not pay attention to it after the fact. Um, I'm pretty good about most of our videos. We make them within an hour of our day waking up. The rest of the day, I'm present. And every now and then I'll pop in to reply to some comments because we for engagement I have to do it. So like when she's looking at the TV, I'll get my phone, respond to 2, 3 comments, and then you know pay attention to her. So I always tell people because sometimes when I get judgment, I was like, you have to think about it. Out of 24 hours, you only see maybe total 5 minutes of my life. So
And how much
there's
of that is, planned versus unscripted? Is it all kind of just of the moment and then you figure out how to frame it later? Or,
maybe 2 to 3 videos are planned because it's a routine. Like when she wakes up, when we walk outside of our driveway to go to she has a cherry tree in the front yard that she always runs to get a cherry and throw it in her mouth. That's usually planned, and then after that, like I just look for a little moment. Like sometimes I would say something or we'll do something, and then I see how she responds. I rush my phone. I was like, "Oh, this is gonna be good." So and then I would say something, then she responds, and then I get the 1 minute, and then it's done.
So one of the things we were wondering about too was like, how do you, resist not capturing a zillion of these moments and ultimately making decisions on what you decide to share publicly versus privately. So how do you kind of walk the line?
Um, it's it's so a few of those. There's been a thousand, I mean, tens of thousands of moments that I have actively thought, this is just gonna be between us, you know. Um, I consciously think of moments not to show, like that I'm not gonna share. And at the same time, I also look for moments that, uh, in those the same in between those moments, like I give you an example. There's when my wife and I and our daughter, we were out, like just to have a glass of wine down the street. We were playing this little game where we're stacking hands and stuff. I was like, you know what? Let me get this. This is gonna be good. So I just propped up my phone to my beer glass, and then we did it. It was like a 45-second video, and then it was a hit. So, but in between, like I'm very good about not capturing moments in between, like family time and stuff.
Would you say the beer glass is the best kind of tripod?
Yeah, oh yeah,
Yeah.
it is.
I hard agree. I hard agree. I literally, it's sturdy. Yeah. The only thing is you have to deal with the front facing camera. Although here's a question for insiders and even people like us. What are you using, Derek? Are you Android? Are you iPhone? What model should I be on right now?
I'm iPhone.
Which one? Which one?
I have. I think this is a 15 Pro Max.
Oh, well, he's not playing. I have a 12 Pro Max still all these
Yeah.
years later.
So because of being a content creator, this I have to get one of the best phones, and then with the biggest memory. So I'm because of what we've been doing the last year, I'm almost running memory out of my 56 gigabytes. So my next phone is going to be a 500.
I was gonna say I was waiting for him to be like, "Yeah, I've got a terabyte, no big deal." You know,
That's
I
going to
mean,
be my next one.
this is the world we're in. I've got the
Yeah.
256 too. It's a struggle. It's a struggle.
Yeah, for a long time, I've always, when I'm buying a phone, I don't care what version it is. I always look for the memory. Yeah.
Talk to us about your career, your former life in banking, and kind of how you left that and now are, mostly with Tallulah, and I know you're pursuing cybersecurity. Like, what's that transition been like as you've also been transitioning into new fatherhood?
Um, s- uh, I enjoyed banking. It was fun. It was fun. Um, Given a chance, I would go back, but I don't think I will. Um, and I've made so many friends over there. Transitioning, it was a little bit nerve-wracking. Um, Mainly because of just the unknown. But my wife kind of convinced me, like, hey, you can do anything you want in this world. You can be even a YouTuber if you want. Just I was like, okay. So I was like, so I decided, you know what, I'm gonna pursue something that I've always wanted to pursue. That's when I started studying cybersecurity, and I just finished that course like last month. I'm yet to write exams. So yeah, my wife convinced me to.
What was it about cybersecurity that appealed to you?
Um, so before banking, I used to work for Enterprise Rent a Car at the Tampa International Airport, and I had this job where I had to investigate a lot of like damages on rental cars, thefts. I had to investigate a lot of thefts. So I have a knack for just a lot of details, and pursuing to find out like what's happening behind that information and all that stuff. So that's why I thought if I get into cybersecurity with hopes of maybe having my own forensic detective business, whatever. That's why.
You do realize you're setting yourself up to be the ultimate guard dad for your daughter. Anyone who you meet, she meets, who she may date, you'll be like, you'll sit that person down on the couch and be like, I've run a couple checks on you. I know everything there is to know. I mean, and I always will. I always will. Yeah, I think so.
I kind of feel like we're getting dangerously close to like you might be the Dos Equis most interesting man in the world. Like,
Oh, I don't think so.
I don't know.
You
You just need a beard. You're a beard away. A beard away.
Yeah.
the funny thing is, so the last few weeks I've been going through some kind of online harassment from someone, and I don't know. So I was like, I was kind of dismissing it, and
Not us. I swear.
so I dismissed it. So then I got like this person keeps sending me emails, like weird, like just weird emails, like saying that my daughter is their daughter, whatever, something like that. So I got a few days ago. I got tired. I was like, you know what? I told my wife, babe, can you watch the baby for a little bit? So I went and sat the whole afternoon, literally trying to dig information like who this person is. I could not figure out who they are, but I figured out where I can find them. So I called the PD. I gave him all my fact-finding information. I said, hey, I don't know what you can do with this, but here's it. So the PD were like, okay, can you run us through what really happened? So I showed them the emails. I was like, yeah, but the problem is it's not a crime yet. They're just saying things until they threaten you or they solicit something from you. Then let us know. I was like, okay, good. So yeah, I'm able to find. I'm because of the way my mind works. I just love. It's a challenge. If someone threatens me, it's a challenge. So I just sat on my computer, found out where that email was from. I found a email header and stuff, and got the IP address, and yeah.
What are some of those detective? And now I just want to talk about being a detective, because for me, I would just go to Google and be like, well, it didn't come up in Google. What else can people be doing? Like the average sleuth, to try to find stuff out online.
I mean, every digital interaction that we have has information on it. That's one thing you have to know. Like, there's not really a way you can hide as long if you're using unless if you're using stuff to protect you, right? You can somewhat get away. But this person, like in this case, this person tend to be a little bit of a clever person, because I will send them a picture attached to that where like IP grabbers and stuff, and they never clicked on those pictures, and their response was like, "Stop trying to find me." I was like, "Okay, I can still find you though." So, but I never told them that, and I never told them that I know where to find them. But yeah,
Until now. Until now.
Until now, that's right. Every digital interaction has information where someone can figure out something. That's number one. Yeah.
It's kind of crazy, like when you were talking about, I was threatened and then you took action. Like, I remember we had a kind of a weird tiff with the landscaper and I just didn't answer the door. But my wife, she was pretty good about digging into the guy. I might talk to her like, she might be like, oh, if I want to do a little extra side hustle cash, college is around the corner for us. This cybersecurity thing, Derek, we may have to just, once you get your business up and running. Yeah, my wife, like, we lost my kid's phone. He. And she totally found it. And it wasn't just Find My either. So, yeah, it's a crazy world. It's a crazy world out there.
It is.
So,
Yeah.
walk us. So I know that the most of your day is spent with Tallulah. Walk us through a typical day. I mean, like, this is an era. Let us wax nostalgic for what it's like to have an 18-month-old. I mean, the joys, the horrors. What's a day like? What time are you up? What time are you down? And like, tell us everything in between.
So as long as she's not going to daycare, on a like right now. So for the next 1 week, because we are in Maine right now, because my wife runs a like a dog rescue like on our property. It's on that side of the property. So I get to take care of her. So she wakes up. Tallulah wakes up around about 7:15, somewhere there. That's when we shoot our first video. So she wakes up. When we're here, she walks to that window, and I get my 1 minute with her, and then after that, get ready for the day, go downstairs, make breakfast for her, and then once she's done with breakfast, make some freshly squeezed juice, and then she loves books, so we don't do TV in the morning. So we go through reading books, playing some games, some motor skill games and stuff. Um, and then after that, I'm just chasing her around the house. That would be like maybe like 10-ish in the morning. I'm just chasing her around the house because I'm trying to get her tired. Um, if good weather, would take a drive down the street to the park, spend an hour there. Then by the time we come back, she's ready for a nap at 11. Then at 11, I catch up with like maybe do some phone calls with my relatives back home, or jump on a live with someone from Zambia, stuff like that. And then by 11:45, 12 o'clock, she's awake. It's lunchtime. Make lunch for her. We hang out. After lunch, another juice, and then we sit on the couch, TV, play around, play with her toys. Then by 5 o'clock, her mom walks in the door, and usually I go upstairs and just study, do some cybersecurity projects, and then by 7 o'clock, I'm downstairs, crack a beer, and we're relaxing. And then she'll be in bed by 6:15 the most. Because 5:45 she starts rubbing her eyes, and then yeah.
I was gonna say, so she's not drinking a beer alongside you.
No. We're pretty good about not drinking when she's around. On purpose, because we want to be present.
What's
Yeah.
what's your beer of choice?
Foster's lager.
Like the big fat can? The big fat
Yeah, the
can?
big one. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh man,
Yeah.
that's taking me back.
All right.
I remember the age.
Be disappointed.
No, if it's not Foster's, it's usually Corona or any other craft lager.
Commercials had a really big impact on you, huh?
Yeah. No, I think with Foster's it's the taste. I love the way Foster's taste. Second from Foster's is just I like Corona. I've drank Corona for a long time.
Sure.
Is that
Yeah.
the beer they had in Zambia? I'm kind of curious what that role plays into it.
No, we don't have. I don't think we have Foster's in Zambia. In Zambia, we have the most popular beer is Mosi. It's Mosi, and then they have Castle Lager. I'm sure if you've been to Europe, you will see it. It's very popular.
sounds familiar.
Yeah.
Talk about like what was it like, growing up in Zambia, and like what was fatherhood, modeled for you there, your own relationship with your dad, and like just what's the read on fatherhood? I imagine it's a little bit different than in America. Although, we were just talking about this with a different dad. It's different in every state too. Maybe different in Florida than it is in Texas than it is in New York where I am. So, but just tell us about like fatherhood in Zambia. What's that like?
It's a little bit fatherhood in Zambia is it's a little bit weird. So the dad that I am today is running away from the dad that I experienced. Like everything that I am runs away from like the dad I experienced. My dad was, God bless him, rest in peace. He was a character, right? He was never home. Yeah, but he would get, and I knew, when he gets paid, he's gone for days, sometimes weeks. So growing up was a little bit rough. Um, I don't particularly think he wanted to be a dad. Um, yeah, I don't think he wanted to be a dad because he was never ever ever present. Mom, a lot of what I am today, my mom raised me. Like my mom taught me how to cook. My mom gave me the passion for cooking and being sympathetic for people, being respectful to people, all those things. Not so much my dad. We kind of had a one-sided relationship where I wanted him to be my dad, but I don't think he really wanted to do anything with me. 'Cause even though he lived in the house, I remember in my teens, I would go find him. I would go find him in the bars that I would think, he's hanging out at. A lot of times I would find him. And then when I was 16, I think, I was kind of good enough. I kind of knew how to drive because a lot of times he was drunk. He couldn't drive. So I kind of figured out how to drive. So late at night when there's no cops around, I would drive him home. That was my life from 15, 16, and 17 years old. Um, and I see this a lot among his parents, my dad's generation, where they, they claim they're parents, but they're not doing so much for their children. And and I remember thinking growing up, like my dad always, every time he got drunk, like he would brag all these things about how he grew up, how he's so much of this guy. Like he was an electrical engineer, so he bragged so much about what he has accomplished. So I'm like, okay. In my mind, I'm like, you are bragging about all these things you have accomplished, but you are telling me your child, but I don't believe that you're the best. I was just thinking. In 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 other words, I kind of told him that, and he was not happy. Um, yeah. So today, who I am as a dad today is running away from all that madness.
When you say you didn't think he was the best, was it because were you saying I don't believe you actually accomplished all these things in your career, or I just don't care because you just weren't there for me, so none of this means anything?
Yeah. So I didn't believe because my dad bragged so much about how much he's a man. Like nobody can ever be a man, the kind of man that he is. I'm like, so in my thinking, I was like, okay, you are bragging to be a man, but you have nothing to show for it. Like one of which is like, at least show me an example. Give me an example, something I can relate to. You know what I mean? So he wasn't anybody that I wanted to aspire to be. Yeah.
And then how do you? It's just fascinating because I don't know. I mean, obviously we're just meeting for the first time, but it's pretty profound for you to share what you're sharing about how you grew up, and then by this short, but by all the full measure of what I've experienced right now, I see this like happy, inquisitive, and a man who has seems extremely not just content, but is relishing in the time you're spending with your daughter. What is it you think you are doing, consciously, not consciously? Maybe I'm giving you an opportunity to kind of analyze it. That says this is the dad I want to be because this is not the dad I had. Like, what are the things you're doing? What's your kind of marching orders, if you will?
Definitely time is very important. So this is why even though like I'm very active on social media, but at the same time I'm not. So I always want to put in the time with my daughter. That's number one. And by the time my daughter is leaving our house, I want it to be set. So like I have to make sure like she has a lot of skills. So this is why like reading is very important in our house. Learning new things is very important, and we're teaching her respect. You know, so like when she does the thing, the toddler thing, tries to walk me. Her mom and I are both like, "Hey, don't do that. We're not gonna do that." And then sometimes, a lot of times like she gets sad. So I was like, oh, come. And so I would explain. This is a new thing now she's doing. Like I have to explain things to her, and I don't know whether she understands, but she looks at me like she's listening. I would explain, okay, we don't do that. Let's not hit, okay? Do you wanna give me a hug? So even though I discipline her, I don't want her to think that I hate her. So those are things that I actively am trying, and most of all, like one thing I'm really proud of is like everything that we make on social media goes to her, like literally everything. So by the time she's 18, she's gonna be. I want her to be set.
Wow. So
You
this
have
is all an investment. Oh,
is
sorry.
it
Go ahead,
going
Neil. Go.
into, no, I want to get into the specifics. Is it in an IRA? Is it in a savings account? Where is that? How does that
She
transfer happen?
she has an RA, and then she also has a 529, and then recently we started like putting money into like just a regular savings account. No, in a CD. We started a CD for her, so we're putting money in the savings, and then when that CD matures, it's gonna go in the CD. Um, yeah.
Bet you didn't think this was going to turn into a finance podcast, did you, Ali?
Hey, I don't mind teaching other parents that are very active on social media like to do this, and it's fun. Like I always tell people that are, some, that are active, so in in some kind of way, like, hey, this is what you can do. Like I'm always trying to share ideas. Yeah.
Well, and I'm curious, speaking of that, like, have you made other, dad friends, parent friends, and like, how have you found that community? Have you found one in real life, online, both? Like, what's your experience been so far with like other parents?
Um, I engage a lot of dad content creators on social media. Uh, there's a few of them, like, we kind of talk, we're online friends, but in real life, no, I don't have a lot of like dad friends that with the same age as Tallulah.
Why do you
Yeah.
think that is?
Cause I mean, we started having I mean, we had Tallulah at 40. So most of my age mates, like I have like 10-year-olds,
Right.
15-year-olds. Um, maybe that's why. Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah. It's funny. I don't know if you had this experience, Ali. So I'm 40 and I have a 7 and 5 year old. And I found that, this is probably often still the case is like my wife will make a friend with someone and then you suss out whether or not their husband is worthwhile to be your friend. It's almost like they're like vetting for you. And then maybe that's me. I'm not the most social person. I'm like I like to say like I can go to a party if I know some people there, but if I don't
Mm.
know anyone, oh, I'm not about to meet new people. I need kind of like a social lubricant of like a bridge of sorts. So, but I think it's interesting. I mean, I think, it's something that is important. It was like how to make friends with other dads, other people at
Yeah.
this age. And yeah, I mean, tell us about like how do you relate to your dad friends who have such older kids and now that you're the guy with like a baby.
Um, I mean, I have one of my best friends has a 9-year-old and a 7-year-old. Uh, Usually when we hang out, it's without the kids. We hang out at some brewery, or I'll go to his house, or he'll come to my house, and after that we hit up a brewery, have 2 3 beers, and then we call it a day. Just catching up. Recently, I've actively thought about if I'm gonna make dad friends, they have to be kind of friends that are not gonna take me away from a lot of things that I like to do during the day. Um, like a lot of my friends are not social media people, right? So during the day, I gotta make a 1 minute video without someone criticizing me, you know. so when I have to be friends with like other dads, like just don't take me away from what I like to do during the day.
Well, and speaking of that, I mean, you're a man, again, as we've established, who's like lived many lives, has many interests. You have a lot of hobbies. Can you talk to us about like what, the paddleboarding and music? Because you're a DJ and like a amateur paddleboarder, or are you or
I'm an amateur DJ and amateur paddleboarder.
okay. But like,
Yeah.
how did you get into these things? How often are you doing it? And like, are you even able to find time for this stuff being a full-time dad?
Um, Paddleboarding, yes. Amanda and I used to do that. We used to go paddleboarding quite a lot before Tallulah was born, up to when she was pregnant. And then DJing, I started when I took a 3 months parental leave from Truist Bank. So I was like, when the baby's sleeping, I have nothing to do. So I've literally been DJing as long as Tallulah was born. So I actively that same week I went and bought a DJ controller and learned how to DJ, how to mix and stuff. And now every Friday, like I do a jam session on my TikTok for the aunties and uncles and stuff.
Oh,
So
that's
Yeah, that's
fun.
amazing. You're probably like the most reverse story ever. Most people give up the turntables when fatherhood sets in. You literally started scratching. That's
I gotta
amazing.
say, remember, I'm in Brooklyn. There is an epidemic of dads who start DJing and are like, or dads in bands. They're like, I got a gig. Like they're like 17. And, God bless them. It keeps you happy. It keeps you young. Gets you
absolutely.
out of the house. Um, so what kind of music are you playing? What's on the playlist?
Mostly it's Afro house, Afro Latin house, a little bit of house music. I'm a piano. You know I'm a piano, right? I'm a piano. I'm a piano is like a like a chill house music, but out of South Africa. It's a whole
I'm sorry, I
genre.
thought
If you
you
go
were
on
telling us
Spotify,
that
yeah, if you
you
go on
are a piano.
Spotify, say that again.
I thought you were telling us that you are a piano.
No, 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 no. It's a genre of music called I'm a piano. If you type in I'm a piano on Spotify, there's a whole playlist of I'm a piano. It's a chill house, but it has piano instruments and stuff
Ah.
in there. That's what they call it. I'm a piano.
I'm a piano. I'm a piano. You're a piano. I'm a piano. I'm gonna, the other, I learned
We're
so,
not very hip, Derek. Spoiler alert. And I will tell you, as a kid who grew up pretty much through college in the mid to late 90s, as a holdover of like hippie rock, I was like, this house thing isn't going to last. Here we are in 2025, hearing about an Afrikaan subset of house called I'm a Piano. Whoops.
Try it when you drive. So when you drive, go just type in your Spotify. I'm a
Okay.
piano, and then play the top playlist. It's a pretty good music.
yeah.
Hey, you know what? I'm at this point. What have I got to lose? I've got nothing to lose anymore.
And then I play most of that music because on TikTok, most I call them aunties. The followers from that based out of South Africa. We have a huge following in South Africa on TikTok. So that's I gotta throw in like I'm a piano because they jam out to
Wait,
that.
so for your content for the channel, you have wow. So your audience is quite global then.
Pretty much, yeah, yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah, because it's funny. Like every time, like I switch on TikTok doing Friday Jam session, I have friends like these are regulars now. They're like my friends. Someone from some island way out there, like Australia, somewhere in the middle of like the blue ocean out there. When I tune in at 5 o'clock, it's 9 a.m. that side, and then of course, in South Africa, it's like it's it's probably like maybe like 9 p.m. and then we have people from Croatia, Italy, sometimes Brazil. On Instagram, we have a lot of following from Brazil.
So I'm curious, obviously you've been, quote, very online for a long time, but only as a dad creator for a bit. What has surprised you most in a positive way or negative way from either comments, reactions, like the good that has come out of it or the bad or both?
I've been very fortunate. I have a good quality of followers. That surprisingly, they police themselves. So anytime a newbie comes up and then they criticize the fact that after I brush my daughter's teeth, like I use my hand to give him to rinse her mouth with water. Like I use the African way, like put water on my palm and give it to her and stuff. You know, if someone passes like an ugly comment, like they jump on that person. So, like I don't have to do anything for the most part. Until like until it's like if the comment is like where I used to respond, but I'm kind of try not to respond very much. That's been a very surprising thing. Like I've built a good quality community. Um, and then things that surprised me negatively is how much people don't realize that the 1 minute and 15-second video that you're watching is not real life. It's like just a snippet of like life, you know. If I walk outside out of this house and then while I'm walking to my car and I get my phone and say, "Hey, Tallulah, look, snow." Everybody's jumped. Some people jump on me and say, "Hey, get a sweater for your child." Some things like that. You know, people don't realize like it was literally 5 seconds for me walking out of the door going to the car. That's what I made that video. So it's not like I'm exposing my child to cold weather without a sweater. It was literally house, car. Then I got the phone. So the amount of people that don't realize like it's not really real life surprises me.
So it's snowing in Florida? Is that what I'm
No,
just?
in Maine.
Oh,
Well,
right,
I mean, we're in Maine right now.
right, 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 right.
Yeah.
Neil's very focused on climate change, so he's ready for anything. He's waiting to hear about everything. Yeah, he's like, oh my god, it's snowing everywhere. It's snowing on the sun. How do you want your daughter? How would you want your daughter to describe you, or how do you think your daughter will describe you 20 years from now?
I I don't know, but 20 years from now, I would like to her to think how fun I am, because that's my goal. Like the next 20 years, I'll be 60 something by then. In the next 20 years, like I my goal is to have so much fun as much as possible. So I would really like her to look back and think about how much she's enjoyed life with me.
You're someone with, just a lot of interest, and it seems like you're always you're up for pivoting and stuff like that. But obviously, being a dad does change your perspective. How has being a dad changed your view of success or even just your overall professional goals?
Um, if I had my professional goals don't really matter at this time. So if I can have a lot of time with my daughter, that's more important. So, 10 years ago, I would be pursuing, you know, success in all kind of places, and but right now, what's important is just time. Time. That's like so. Whatever. Even when I get a job in cybersecurity, what's important for me is time. I don't care so much about the accolades and whatever. Um, yeah.
All right, Derek, we like to do a little game here called the Dad Lightning Round. I'm going to hit you with a bunch of questions, and you've got to answer like you're lightning.
Okay.
Are you ready?
I'm ready.
All right. You know what? It's so funny. I'm so relaxed right now, but I'm not going to slouch through this. I'm going to sit up straight and fire through these. All right, Derek. First question of the Dad Lightning Round. Super strength or super speed?
Super strength.
Super strength. All right. Parenting advice in 5 words or less.
Spend more time with your kids.
Coffee or Red Bull or Foster's?
Foster's.
I gave you that one. Yeah. That was an underhanded pitch right over the plate.
I saw
One
that.
book. One book every dad should read.
Think and Grow Rich.
All right. Dream dinner guest, dead or alive?
Oh, this is a hard one. Barack Obama.
Ah, there we go. Great TV dad of all time.
This one is tough. I'm not a TV person, so I don't know.
Feel free to use a show from Zambia. I'm happy to watch it on YouTube.
Let me think this through.
Or maybe it's just not a thing. I don't know.
Yeah.
Is there like a fictional dad? I don't know. It's a pop culture nod, really.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't grow up watching a lot of TV. I mean, a lot of TV. So even now, like my TV, I watch a lot of YouTube. I'm weird like that. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it speaks to your relevance today, sir. Keep going
You know
with
what?
that. Yeah.
I take it back. I take it back. So I would bring it to YouTube. It has to be Garrett G from the Bucket List family.
From the what?
Bucket List family on YouTube.
Whoa, cool. Okay,
Yeah.
finally, we're actually getting. Usually, we're just mired in the '90s or sometimes the '70s. Okay,
His
great.
name is his name is Garrett G. Yeah,
Bucket
Garrett G.
List Family. That's what it's
The
called.
Bucket List family. Yeah.
We definitely want to tag that on the socials, Neil. We make it a real play here. Derek's already
Yeah,
bringing us some
his
numbers.
story is very interesting. You guys might want to have him on.
Whoa! now,
Yeah.
now he's straight booking guests. All right. Greatest actual dad of all time.
Greatest actual dad of all time. Wow. That's interesting. That's a good question. I've never really thought about this. Huh. You know what? I would have to I would have to throw it back to Garrett G again
Wow, this
because
is
I love his life.
Whoa, cool.
Yeah.
This is all right. This is great. Okay, very cool. Album you can't wait to share with your daughter. Oh, this is going to be good. I bet it's House.
No, it has to be all the Eminem albums.
Whoa! Wow!
All
Hell
the Eminem
yeah!
albums.
Damn. Marshall
Yeah.
Mathers in the house. Man,
That's
we're going to
right.
have the best social media clips from this. This is just incredible. Eminem. I didn't see that coming, but I didn't even see the house music stuff coming. Favorite dad snack? You can't say Foster's because you've already said Foster's. Favorite
No,
dad
it's-
snack?
Dates.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Dates.
I
All
eat
right.
dates every day.
Is that something? Is it a popular snack in Zambia?
No, it's not. I'm just
It's just a
I'm
Derek
a weird
snack.
healthy eater. Like I eat dried fruit a lot for snacks. I don't do anything packaged. I don't eat anything like crackers or whatever. Not that there's anything wrong, but I just not I eat a lot of fruits and dry fruits and dry vegetables.
Oh my god! If you have like a post where you're eating dates, I'll be like, "Why aren't you eating crackers?" Just to see what the comment, just to see what your comment shielders are like. That's so insane. Good for you. Very, very,
Yeah.
very good for you. All right, and finally, Derek, the best part about being a dad.
The best part about being a dad is you get to live life through someone, through your daughter, through your son. And I think that's what I'm enjoying the most right now is just experiencing life through Tallulah and just, like this morning we went outside and she experienced snow for the first time. And so she was just walking around in snow and stuff. So that was fascinating for me.
I have to say, I've never had an answer hit me so hard and actually perfectly segue into Neil taking it home right now, because that's a brilliant answer. A brilliant answer, Neil.
Derek Mitti, you are the world's greatest dad.
Oh, thank you guys. Thank you so much.
That answer was,
Thanks for doing it. It was a lot of fun.
that was a goated answer, my friend. Goated. Guy, that's exactly it. That's exactly it. And you discovered this now at 18 months. It took me 14 years. Oh, well.